purpose of project management is to plan and manage a project to successfully complete its listed goals and deliverables. It involves identifying and managing the risks, careful resource management, smart budgeting, and clear communication across multiple teams and stakeholders. I, Shaurya, on behalf of the Ladder Podcast channel, welcome you all to this episode in series of interviews. Let us have a look at the purpose and motto of our channel.
Confusion is inevitable state of mind in all stages of life, be it the education, selection of life partner, or the job. More the options, more is the confusion. Despite being the exceptional military leaders, when it comes to transitioning from boots to suits, we again encounter the same confusion. Which job profile to select, what certification needs to be done, and where do we start are all questions that haunt the mind. We at The Ladder bridge this gap of unknown queries by interviewing veterans who are already well settled after their transition. We bring you their valuable experience and share guidance so that you all are benefited. Following the motto of once a soldier, always a soldier, we're here to fill that gap of mentoring and guidance so that bonhomie of armed forces fraternity remains intact.
Well, today we have PMP and PSM certified officer, Sqn Ldr Prasad Retd, retired from Indian Air Force, on this panel. Sqn Ldr Prasad is a postgraduate diploma in aeronautical engineering from Visvesvaraya Technological University. He has varied experience of 10 years in Indian Air Force as radar engineer and aviation system engineer. Presently, he is working as project manager in Tata Advanced Systems Ltd. Tata Advanced Systems Ltd is an Indian aerospace, defense, and military engineering as well as construction and technology company. Well positioned by Tata Group towards addressing the government initiatives to spur the indigenous development and manufacturing. I welcome Sqn Ldr Prasad.
Thank you, Shaurya.
Sir, to begin with the interview, what was your mainstream engineering qualification before joining the Air Force, sir?
I did my engineering in telecommunication from KLE College, under Visvesvaraya Technical University. And telecommunication is more of electronics and communication with some additional subjects included. And nowadays, this stream is been merged as same as electronics and communication.
Why did you thought of joining the Indian Air Force with a background of engineering graduation, sir?
So basically, I was very much fascinated towards joining armed forces. My passion was to work for the armed forces rather than joining a software company. I was placed in HCL during my last semester, and when I was in 7th semester, there was one exam called EKT, Engineering Knowledge Test, conducted by Indian Air Force, and I cleared that exam. And subsequently, when I was in 8th semester, I even cleared my SSB. So I had both the options whether to join armed forces or any software companies where I was placed in the last semester. So I opted for definitely Indian Air Force because it's a challenging job profile, and it was my passion.
Great, sir. So, did you have any experience before joining the Air Force, sir?
No, like 8th semester, the moment I completed my engineering, since I was already cleared my SSB and medicals, I just got 1 week of break, and then I was into AFA, Air Force Academy, Hyderabad, for my training. And subsequently, 6 months of training in AFA. Then I was in Air Force Technical College for my postgraduate diploma in aeronautical engineer for the duration of 1 year.
Okay, sir. So then when did you decide to switch from military to the corporate job, sir?
So after my 2 postings, around after 7 years of service, I was interacting with many people, with my seniors who are already in corporate sector, spoke to few of them, and then most important is what is your family concerned about, whether your family is comfortable to come out after 10 years or they want to continue. So it's a holistic decision. It's not a personal. You have to take your inputs from your family and all. If everyone is ready for this transition, And then if you are mentally and physically means you are ready, then you can definitely. I was ready, and then I took a call, and then at 7th year I decided to move into corporate sector.
Sir, being from a aviation background, why did you choose a corporate job compared to the government aviation stream, sir?
I was exploring the government and PSU. Like for government, what I explored was there is one exam called Karnataka State Administrative KS exam, Administrative Services. But the problem in case was that the exam schedule is not conducted every year. It can be conducted any once in block of 3 years, and the result which they give will also take some time. So it is unpredictable to depend on that government job and sit idle after 10 years without working anything. So that was one concern. And second, the PSU is concerned. There were some vacancies in Bell and HAL. But the thing is, the pay which they gave is equivalent to the pay level which we were in Air Force minus the MSP. So financial wise, the growth was not there. And when I spoke to the aviation experts, what they said that, see, if you, I can anytime join Bell and HAL, but again switching from Bell, HAL, other PSUs to corporate, it is very difficult. So as a armed forces, we have a good tag, and now it is easy to enter corporate world. And definitely, if I am later onwards, if I want to come back in PSU and government, then I have that option. So that's why I took the call to join corporate rather than government or PSU.
Okay, sir. So please tell us about your PMP and PSM certifications you have done.
Okay. So one of my mentors, one of my senior, what he suggested me to, if I want to do the PMP, I have to first finalize where I have to work, whether I have to work in operations or project management. So I opted for operations and project management. For that, the certification required was PMP. So what suggestion my mentor gave, that do the PMP at least 2 years before you move out of the service. This is basically PMP requires effort, time, and the passing percentage is also higher side. So keeping it at the last stage of your transition will make it difficult to cope up with the DGR sponsored courses, searching jobs, preparing your CVs and other things. So it is better to do this PMP 2 years before, and I followed his mantra, and I started preparing at 7th year of service and cleared my PMP in 2019, 2 years before my release. And PSM, professional scrum master, the requirement of PSM I felt recently because of the agile environments which some companies follow. So just 2 months back, I completed this professional scrum master certification.
So how helpful are these certifications in your current job role, sir?
See, in Tata Advanced Systems Ltd, the project which I am handling is a complicated project. It's a airfield infrastructure development project. In one of the vertical, I am leading it as a project manager, Navigational Aids. And basically, when we talk about project, there are two types of project. It's a complex project or a complicated project. Complicated project means everything is well planned, the requirement is known by the vendor, and a lot of time is spent on planning. All aerospace and defense projects come onto this complicated project because the end user, the defense forces, project the requirement, and based on their requirement, the contract is made, and we have to execute as a company. We have to execute that project, and within the given timelines and scope, we have to complete that project. So to achieve this, a waterfall type of methodology is followed. That is project management professional, where there is a protocol. If you go through PMP certification, how the planning is done, how the execution is done, how the monitoring and controlling is done, and how the closing of project is done. Everything is given, and how the stakeholder engagement is done. That everything is full-fledged given in project management professional, and that is very apt for my current job role. So whatever we do here is based on the PMP principles.
Okay, sir. So were you hired in the veteran hiring drive of Tata Advanced Systems Ltd?
See, basically, companies which are into aerospace and defense vertical, be it be Tata or L&T Defense or Mahindra Aerospace, or you take any major giant who is working in defense sector or aerospace, there is nothing called like veteran hiring. Unlike what JP Morgan and other companies which they are tasked to do a veteran hiring of so much percentage of workforce every year, and they pick up people, and they it's a more of a their requirement to hire veteran. But in defense vertical, the vacancies are had based on the availability. Means suppose if I am quitting my job, then definitely they will look for one more officer. So if the vacancy is there, they only in that time the hiring is done. It's not like they hire and then they will put for the project. It's all about the vacancies. If the vacancy is available, then definitely we get the opportunity to get interviewed and get the job. It's not a specific thing that every year they will hire so much percentage. Suppose in army, if someone is working has worked for 10 years in buffers, and Tata Advanced System is planning to develop indigenized buffers, so that person who knows operationally how what all challenges is there in buffer guns in various environment, he'll be an added advantage with a PMP in hand. So he knows the what end user wants from army side, and being certified as a PMP, he knows how to handle the project. And definitely Tata will give you an opportunity to learn for initial few months, and then you pitch on to your actual work.
Okay, sir. Sir, how important is this networking during transitioning?
See, one of the mantra is your network is your net worth. So the more network you have, it's more beneficial for you, because the officers who are transiting generally are in most cases they are joining in mid senior level. So when any individual wants to join in mid senior level, so the one who is hiring definitely wants to know about you. Someone has referred you, and how he was there, how was his performance in the defense forces. So these all matter. So definitely your seniors who have migrated into corporate sector, be in touch with them, talk to them how is their company, and ask them if there is any vacancies coming up in next year. And that will be, once he refers to the hiring manager, then that will be a good thing. So networking is a very good thing. 100 people and there are 10 job vacancies, you finally end up interviewing with 3 companies, then you will land up in one job. That is the how things works in networking.
Okay, sir. So what was your priority between job location and the job role, sir?
See, in my last 3 years of service, I was associated in military airport infrastructure project, MAFI, in Indian Air Force. I was from the user side, Indian Air Force. And then Tata was executing this project in various airfields. So I used to interact with the vendors, and I had learned a lot of technicalities of the project. So that's why I felt that whatever I have learned, I have to put those things into my job. So the job location which was available for me for this project was Delhi NCR. Although I belong to Karnataka, given a chance, I would have opted for Bangalore. But my VP who was interviewing me gave me an option to work for Bangalore TESL office, but it was some other project where I don't have the background. So I opted for Mafi project, and then I relocated to Delhi NCR. So I gave priority of what I can give my best and what is my suitability. That I give more priority than the location.
So being a radar engineer and the aviation system engineer, sir, how it was helpful in your present job role in the Tata Advanced Systems?
See, I was telling that in MAFI, this project we call is MAFI Modernization of Airfield Infrastructure. So in this project, we constantly interact with the vendors with our requirements. So the holistic view of what project was going on, that idea I had. And when I joined as a project manager in Tata Advanced System, I knew what are the challenges the end user was facing in the field unit, and what best we can do it to mitigate. End of the day, we have to provide a best service to our services. So being associated with that project 4 years before I joined Tata, that was very helpful for me.
So was it difficult for you to adjust from the Air Force life to the civil world, sir?
Yes, definitely there will be some roller coaster ride the moment you transit from your military life, from a military environment to civil environment. A lot of challenges you face, but definitely with time everything goes smoothly. Like you will be coming out of military environment and staying in some private apartments and all, and then there is no much social life what you have in defense forces. There are no people helping around in and around when you are not available. So there are challenges, but with time, everything goes smoothly.
Okay, sir. Sir, tell us about the importance of MBA and the multiple options we have these days, like the executive MBA, distance learning, or the full-time 2 years degree. What is best suited for a transitioning officer?
Yeah, since in my 10 years of service, I didn't got the opportunity to do any of these courses. In 3 years before I left the service, I attempted one postgraduate diploma in material management. But however, I could not complete that course because I opted for the weekend classes. Being based on your operational requirement and then attending the weekend classes is a bit difficult. So after one semester, when my exam was there, I could not attend the exam because I was deputed for some other operational requirement job. So after 6 months, I could not complete. So my suggestion is opt for something, some distance education, which will not affect the operational requirement of defenses. Like if you opt for some evening classes and all, it with your job profile, it is very difficult to cope up that. That was one of the lesson which I learned. So given an option, I would have done some distance MBA or anything from any of the project, but definitely I would have started a bit early, like after 5 years of service, rather than keeping it at the end. And 2 years we have to keep it about for fine tuning your skills in certification, learning tools like MS Excel and other things, preparing your resumes, networking. For those things you have to keep. And after 5 years of service, probably somewhere in 6th or 7th year, you have to spend those 2 years for distance education. That is a lesson learned from my side. I could not do it.
Great advisor. Sir, can you tell us about the importance of resume building and the salary negotiation for the first time job search?
Yeah, resume building is very important. See, like if people in armed forces have done, work, be it the project management work, the HR work, the operation management, it is very difficult for the end user to understand what you have done. So your military terminology should be converted into corporate terminology. And second thing, you have to first make a master resume, noting down all those things under operational head, project management head, HR head, what all you have done. And then whenever there is a job opening, please go through the job description JD and then prepare one more CV which matches the job requirements. So I was speaking to one of my mentors, and then the first resume which I had made on my own, I shared with him, and then I told him he was working in a corporate sector, and I asked him the feedback. How is my resume? Then in layman language, what he told, like Prasad, if you're hiring a cook in your home and you get a resume where he has mentioned 70% of the work as a gardener and 30% as a cook, and then will you be interested in hiring it? Although it is a good that he knows gardening, but he's looking for a cook who can put things like he can cook continental, Chinese, and these aspects he can put it into his resume so that the hiring manager is appreciates much more what is required. So that requirement we have to match rather than telling about more of what we have done in armed forces. That is the key things in resume building. So for the first job, I could not take help of any resume building. I took help of my seniors, mentors in fine tuning my resume. And 1.5 years after I served in Tata Advanced System, now I'm looking more. I have to fine tune my resume for higher position now, senior program manager and other activities. So now I'm using, because I know what I have worked in corporate sector. So now I'm using the resume services.
Great, sir. That's a best example for anyone to understand the importance of resume. So tell us about the foreign job opportunities available in your job role, sir.
Yeah, foreign. Along with that, I will even cover in my 8th or 9th year of service, I was exploring job opportunities abroad and along with masters. So in the 9th year service, in fact, I applied for one college. I decided to do MBA in aerospace. The program is called Aerospace MBA, and there are quite few colleges which gives this MBA. One is Toulouse Business School in France, and I just sent my resume and other things to the college, and after a month I got a mail from them that your resume fits perfectly, and we can have an interview. And after the interview, we can shortlist you for the course, and no need of any other additional test like GRE and all. So I was happy, and then what I did, I connected the people who have done this MBA in that college and asked him how is the prospect. So what feedback I got from the people who have done MBA from that, definitely the course is good, networking is good, but what the aviation sector was down between 2019 to 21 because of COVID. So there were no job opportunities. So aviation is a very dicey thing. Whenever the economy falls, situation like COVID comes, the aviation sector comes down, and again it picks up rapidly once the economy is booming. So considering these aspects, I opted not to venture out in foreign countries and take risk of spending money in doing masters and ending up with no job.
Sir, as you were mentioning some software courses mandatory for the transitioning officers, could you list us some important softwares which one should learn, sir, before joining any corporate?
See, you have first foremost is MS Excel, and when I say MS Excel, you need to have a basic understanding, basic, intermediate, and advanced MS Excel. So there are many tools like Udemy. If you go to Udemy, you get this course for 300, 400 rupees. And most important thing is, when you go through that content, you have to apply those concepts in your real time, in your work environment. Otherwise, if you go through the video of 10 hours and then you forget it, it's all on hands experience. If you learn something, apply it in your work environment so that that knowledge remains with you. And along with MS Excel, what I can suggest, just have a fair view how project management, for in my vertical, I can tell how the Jira professional, there is one software called Jira, and even Microsoft has one software, Microsoft Project, which is used for project management. Similar in Udemy, you can pick those courses, install a trial version, learn it, and have some hands-on experience, and you put those things in your resume. And if the interviewer asks where you have used this tool, you just tell, in my defense vertical, in this, for this project, for this tool I have used, and it was definitely a time-saving activity for me by using these tools. That you can tell them that the hiring manager is impressed, basically.
Sir, tell us some important lessons from your Air Force life which were helpful in your corporate job.
Like one thing which what we bring on the table in corporate sector is the leadership. So when I talk about leadership, it's like when we are in defense, it is more of an authoritative leadership. You dictate terms and your subordinates work accordingly. But things don't work like this in corporate sector. You have to be a collaborative leader to achieve your goals. When I talk about collaborative leadership, it's all about when you and your team, when you work, even you have to get connected with the last person, understand his problem, get into his shoes, and everything. It's a flat organization. You have to treat everyone equally, your co-workers, your subordinates. And it's not you are growing, you have to grow, ensure that your people are also growing. That is the key thing. You have to look as a collaborative leader. Nowadays, these concepts like collaborative leadership, true leader, these things are coming up a lot. You can go through internet and see the what qualities a person looks in a collaborative leader, a true leader. So those qualities you have to build up so that the transition is easy. And coming to other lessons like self of belongingness. So whenever we used to work in Air Force, whatever activity they have given, we have to take it in such a way that it is my personal activity and I have to complete it within time. Same attitude if you come in private, and whatever job is assigned to you, have that belongingness within you so that you can complete that task within the set time frame. And again, in corporate sector, like in defense sector, the dependability, like whenever activity is assigned to us, the boss dependability on, let's say, dependability of us on our boss is medium, I can say. But in corporate, it is very high dependability. Means whatever activity you are doing, your interaction with a boss in corporate is minimal. Only you go and approach your boss whenever there is an impediment, their bottlenecks and other thing. However, in defense forces, it's more of whatever you do, you keep your boss in continuous loop in feedback, and whether you have done, not done, everything you keep in a close feedback day-to-day basis. But in corporate, in my vertical, I interact at the max once in a week with my boss and explain him. So he's in the assumption that everything is moving smoothly. Only if there is an impediment, then I go and approach my boss. That is the dependability what is required in corporate sector. And the most important is humbleness. What I feel when you come in corporate sector, humbleness is very important, because we take a rank and come in an organization. Like in my vertical, there are 6 project managers who run this project. I am the only defense officer. Rest 5 are from civil background. So they should not feel that some officer is coming and he'll put his rank and again the equality is not there. So you have to build your team in such a way with your co-workers that should not be there. So humbleness will come in this picture, and be as humble as possible with your co-workers and subordinates. That's it from my side.
Sir, as per you, what would be the ideal time to prepare before one decides to leave the current armed forces job? Is it a 6 months, 1 year? What would be the ideal time, sir?
So first thing, what I can say, it depends from service to service. Like for in Indian Air Force, the PC board for us is only after 11 years of service. So the person in Indian Air Force who wants to quit after 10 years, who has decided to quit after 10 years, then he's not looking for a PC board. So he's very crystal clear in his mind that he's going out. So after 7 years or 8 years, if he takes a call that no, I'm leaving after 10 years of service, I'm leaving. So then he don't have any plan B in his mind that the PC board will come or anything. So from IF perspective, I can say that my coursemates who wanted to shift to corporate, who took a decision, they were very firm, and that firmness gave them, to put more efforts in building their skills so that it can match for corporate. Otherwise, what happens if you are awaiting for a PC board and then you are preparing? You cannot wholeheartedly put efforts in building up skill. But my advice is, for those who are waiting for board, and if not board, then you are going corporate. So these tools like MS Office, the PMP, Professional Scrum Master can also be utilized in armed forces if you get PC. Definitely, your profile will also have an added advantage if you, as a PC officer, you are using such protocols which are used in corporate. So have a firm decision.
Sir, please tell us about the difference between this PSM certification and the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, Black Belt.
Okay. So sometime back, I was talking about the complicated project where the requirement from the end user is very clear that this is a deliverable I want after the project is completed. So these all comes under PMP, complicated project, and waterfall methodology is used to complete the project. There is other set of projects where the requirement itself is not clear. Like you want to develop a website, an app, and build more features as per the customer requirement. So such projects are called complex project, where the end requirement is not clear. It all about the customer, based on the customer's requirement, the website or app goes on building. So for such complex project, PSM is professional Scrum Master is used. Agile is a methodology, and Scrum is a framework where you apply those concepts and protocols to achieve the goals. Coming to Lean Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma is more of a improvement aspect. It is used everywhere, whether it is operations, project management, services industry, whichever industry. There are set things which are there in Lean Six Sigma, where you have to make the work with minimum resources, minimum time frame, avoiding waste, and focusing more on QA, quality assurance. So what I can say, that these all certification will act like a feather on your cap. Definitely it will be helpful. And my take on this is that don't give this certification at last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of your transition, because that is the time where you have to focus more on preparing the interview, matching your JD, what questions can be asked, networking. So do it in the last year before you, at least a year before you take a call to leave.
Okay, sir. Sir, what do you miss from uniformed life in the corporate world?
Yes, definitely I miss a lot. Like the social environment perspective wise, there is a lot of difference because in corporate it's all about your work life and your personal life. So there is no much link within your co-workers, that they want to mix the work life and the personal life, unless until you have some good friends in your work environment. So definitely the social part, the parties I miss. And again, the other adventurous activities, what services give us, yoga, the marathons and all those things we miss. But definitely, if someone is interested in that, there are many activities are conducted in the within your city. Opt for it, and be a part of those. In our company, people they have one program like HD over 100 days of running. So some people have subscribed, and it's a running activity for the whole year, and they virtually run within their own environment and discuss things in the office. So such virtual things are can be done in a private, but again, time, weekdays you may not get that much of time in spending in your hobbies, but Saturday and Sunday, definitely those days are with you to explore your hobbies and adventure activities.
All right, sir. Any last word of advice to the officers in the transition phase, sir?
So what I will advise, again, I will say your net worth is your network. So build your network, get into LinkedIn, talk to your seniors, and the decision to leave the corporate should be a firm decision. Only in that firmness you can put more efforts in upskilling yourself. And definitely in that it's not that easy transition, I can say. But with talking with people, networking, speaking, this will have a good helpful and fruitful for your transition. That is my advice.
So thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you.
It's been an
Thank you.
insightful discussion with
Yeah.
respect to the PMP and PSM certifications. I'm sure the viewers will be benefited by your advice, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Surya.